He's going to be here. He's late, but he is going to be here. So we can start. Obviously, we had no members of the public here, so we're going to start right into our first statutory and advisory business. So if you could kindly just introduce yourself, so you get your name on the mic.
Sure. My name's William Davidson from Hoyle Tanner and Associates.
Perfect. Is it Lon? Is it mic on?
Yep.
Good. Even better. All right. If you wouldn't mind just walking us through the project a little bit, because
Sure.
This is something that's actually gotten quite a bit of attention in town.
Yeah, I
Surprisingly enough.
imagine. I imagine most everybody knows where this project is. It's the former Shaw's site on DW Highway. It's been vacant for quite a bit of time, besides the restaurant that's there and a few small other things. Our client, OVP Management, is now working on it. They're going to renovate the building. We are going to be going before the planning board as well. I think we're supposed to be slated for tomorrow, but I think it's now the 16th for the planning board that we'll be going for. Basically, the building itself is going to remain the same. Besides, they're going to be changing the facade, updating it, improving it, making it a lot more recent than what it is. There is going to be two building pad sites, both of them up closer to the road a little bit more. One is going to be a 600 square foot, I believe it's an Aroma Joe's coffee shop. And the other is going to be about a 4,000 square foot restaurant of some sort. They don't know exactly the tenant. Right now, what they're doing is getting their tenants lined up for the existing building, and they have a fair amount of them lined up. What we will be doing with the site is reclaiming the site and putting down new pavement. The pavement's been there for 30 years or so. It's pretty much no longer useful. There will be new lighting that's in place. If you look on the plan, there's a fair amount of green space compared to what there was, and then also this section in between the highway is also going to be landscaped, and it's just not shaded in green, but that's all going to be landscaped and loamed and seeded as well. So we're here to the Conservation Commission because we're in the aquifer district, and looking at drainage, the majority of the site drains to the road, and there's a curbing that goes along the DW highway that catches it, and over the years they've cut little slots in it to allow the drainage to go into the swale. They've done a number of things. What we're planning on doing is put curbing back there, as well as more catch basins, so that everything gets caught there. And in this one location,
You're saying between the road and the parking lot itself?
Most of the is it okay? I'm not with the microphone.
Yeah, why don't you put that just.
So yeah, most of the drainage right now sheets across and catches in a curb that's here, and there's a series of catch basins that aren't completely on the curb line, so they probably don't catch as much as they could. And over years, they've gone and cut out sections of that curb to let it bleed out and get into a ditch that goes in this direction here into a pipe. What we're planning on doing is putting curbing all the way around this, catching it in catch basins, so deep sump catch basins. They actually have a 4-foot sump on them, so that they'll allow sediment to build up in those catch basins. All the new catch basins that we have deep sumps. Some of the drainage in this area here will again outlet to the drainage, closed drainage that exists right now. And then this area here, we're going to catch some and put it into a storm chamber system that'll allow to get some infiltration back into the ground. There's two ways that we provide treatment on this system. One is through the deep sump catch basins, removing the sediments and things from the drainage. And then also when it goes into this storm chamber system, there's an isolator row. And the isolator row, I don't know if you guys have plans or not, but there is details in the back that shows an isolator row. But I can explain what that is. So you have the water that comes in.
Do you know what page that's on?
Yep, it is. Yep, last page. And the bottom left-hand corner will show you the isolator row. And what that is the entire drainage that comes through there goes through one chamber system, which is this. You can also see it in the top section. Whichever way the drainage comes in, there's a drain manhole here and a drain manhole here on this side. The water goes through that isolator row. And that's wrapped with fabric. It has fabric on the bottom. So any sediment or debris that goes in there will actually get caught in that isolator row. And the reason for that is, well, first of all, we design it for the first flush. That's the size of the chamber system and the volume that's coming into it. Any of the debris gets caught in there so that it doesn't go and clog into the rest of the system. And if there is any debris, people go and they bring a vac truck and they would actually vac out that sediment so they can clean it and maintain it. The drain manhole allows for when you have a larger storm, say you have a 10-year event or whatever, or a larger storm than the first flush, the isolator row, once the water builds up, there's two little weirs that are in these drain manholes that allows the water to spill over into those and then get through to the rest of the chamber system. So your isolator row captures your first flush with your sediments and debris, and I've seen, Mountain Dew bottles, things like that.
Right.
That gets caught into that isolator row. But there is, actually I should know this off the top of my head. I believe there's 60 chambers here, so it's a fairly decent size system. And this will allow you to. So we dug a test pit. We dug a test pit there, and it's all sand that's there. We went down 120 inches, about 10 feet, and there's no sign of seasonal high water table. It's beautiful sand.
A lot of that sand went into the big dig and stuff like that.
Yeah, I actually, yeah.
Well, all those condos are and all that used to be one big hill. They took all that sand out and trucked it to Boston. Yes. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I grew up in Merrimack as well.
Yeah.
And I moved here in '78, and it was like when I was in high school. I remember they were taking that all, and that's what it was a big sand pit right there.
Yeah.
I didn't know it went to the big dig, but
I think that's the
somewhere,
rumor
yeah.
went or somewhere in Boston. Yeah, but yeah.
So very good for infiltration and recharge in the aquifer. So I think that's why we're here talking with the Conservation Commission. Like I said, we're going to be going to the Planning Board after. We do have, I don't know if you guys are interested in it, but there's some renderings of signs and things. They're trying to update it and put in new signs, and I think there's some facades that they have. If you wanted to look at them, I could certainly pass them around.
See them. I like to see them.
For curiosity's sake, right?
I don't think they're in any particular order, but
Does the isolator roll, does that,
I'm trying to see what stores are going in.
yeah, I do. Does that get scheduled?
yeah, there's actually, we have on that same page, we have a maintenance notes on when they do that, and also the same thing with the maintenance procedure that we have for the ice. So these notes all apply to that, and periodically it gets sucked out.
That's usually something the planning board looks for, or at least the engineering firm looks for, is make sure you have a maintenance schedule and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, they usually, so they're supposed to inspect it on the general stormwater maintenance notes. They're supposed to check it after every major storm, but at a very minimum of twice a year in the spring and the fall, and see what there is for sediment. Each one of these chamber systems, I think it's like every 6 chambers, has a inspection port, so they can actually, there's a cast iron plate that's in the parking that they can remove and look down with a flashlight into the chamber system so somebody doesn't have to crawl in there, but they can inspect that and see how much sediment's built up.
It's nice that there's gonna be more green space.
Yep.
Is the parking lot gonna get repaved or ripped up and?
It's going to get we looked at it doing an overlay on it, and it just it won't work well. There's so many cracks that are there. If we were to put typically you'd put 1 inch to 1.5 inches pavement overlay over it. It just wouldn't work with the amount of cracks. They pop back up through, and it is pretty interesting that it's lasted as long as it has, because there's
Hasn't been used much.
yeah. Well, recently it used to get used a lot.
Yes, yes,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, they used to have Christmas trees there in
Yeah.
the parking lot.
It used to be the
Yeah, that
store
was
to
the
go.
place.
That's right.
I know, I lived in the condominiums next door when they closed it.
Oh, did you?
I was very,
Yeah.
because I used to walk to the grocery store, I
King
used to walk to the
Kong?
Chinese restaurant.
King Kong?
Kitty Cat, oh yeah,
King
yep,
Kong.
yep, I was right outside there when they closed everything. But I'm glad to see something's happening now.
Yeah.
So, new building, stormwater coming off the building, is that captured and pushed into the stormwater system?
Yes, there's going to be roof drains for those.
Okay, all right.
Typically, that would be considered clean, clean water. But
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, I just didn't know if it was gonna be dropped on the pavement and then let the sheet flow, or is it actually gonna capture it and drop?
Well, we're
right into the
planning on
system?
having roof drains for that to get it
Yeah.
through the system.
Yeah.
At least the larger one is right there.
Yeah,
I'm not so sure about the 600 square foot one.
yeah, okay, makes sense.
There's a couple planting plans in here. You only list a few of the plants. Is that the limit of the plants that are going to be?
That is the plants that are going to be planted. Yes, there's actually a lot of there's quite a few plants, but there's 2 sheets, 8 and 9,
Right.
and so there's 16 red maples, 19 dogwood. There's 96 rhododendron, which is a shrub, but
Right. Well, yeah, I was more concerned of the type of plant that it is,
Oh,
not
yep.
necessarily the quantity, but 'cause one of our hot buttons is native plantings.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's good to see.
yeah, no more Norway maple and
Yeah.
Breeding
No, thank
grounds.
you.
bushes.
Yeah.
No, thank you. And there's a fair amount. Well, there's going to be a lot more, but there is a fair amount of trees in the section along Daniel Webster Highway. That it's obviously going to get supplemented, but there's existing trees there that are of value. They're decent trees.
All right. So, sheet C10. Just a few notes. Under section C in the middle, structural measures, it's nice to see straw
Yep.
bales. I did note in a much earlier page, like C2, where you have the legend, it says
Says
hay
hay
bales.
bales,
Yeah. Even though I'm not sure I saw any hay bales actually in the plans.
Yeah, we generally.
Nowadays with the modern silt fences, you really don't even need them.
Yeah, we generally say, I believe in one of our notes, we generally say that they have a minimum of 50 bales on site,
Yeah. Okay.
so that they can use them. Excuse me.
Yeah.
During storms.
Yep. That makes sense.
On that same page.
Yeah. Under B. There's a few places where you touch on fertilizers.
Yes.
So note 2B under vegetative measures, it says all else fails, use 10-10-10. Basically, fertilizer should be uniform spread over the area. So this is only for temporary seeding.
Correct.
If at all possible, we'd like to see 10-0-10
Okay.
or something along that line, because you're so close to, not that it could get there, but it might, to Horseshoe Pond and stuff like that. And we've had a huge problem in Horseshoe Pond with red plumes that are
pretty close.
basically come from the phosphorus that's in fertilizers.
Okay.
So, again, because you were capturing everything, but this is temporary seeding, and you might not have all that stuff in place at the
Okay.
time. So, I do appreciate your note further down under 3B where it talks about testing of soils. But then it talks to 10, 20, 20, and again, we'd like to
Yeah.
take the phosphorus out of that. So, you know,
Yeah, no, that's a good catch. Generally in like a shoreline protection zone, we would put a low phosphate.
yeah.
So it's- there actually is a very small section that's in the shoreline, 250 feet from Horseshoe, right about where that entrance is
Okay.
on the right side.
Yeah. Sorry, did I?
No, that's,
Yeah. It's usually I go for that sheet that has all the boilerplate stuff in it because it's eventually all the boilerplate will get updated for Merrimack, but so what about drainage on the back side of the building? How's that handled now?
Yeah, the drainage on the back side of the building is going to remain the same. The drainage that comes down here, there's catch basins and a small ditch that comes along this way and comes out through the entrance. That's all going to remain the same.
Yep.
The only thing that we're going to be doing on the back is crack sealing and in-seal coating. That's not going to get, so this gray area in the front here is what's going to get reclaimed and new pavement. The back doesn't see as much use, so we're just going to crack seal and seal coat that.
Are you creating a path to your proposed sign near the highway, or are you gonna?
No, we're not going to be, I mean, they're going to need equipment to get up there, but I don't think we're going to have, once they come out of there, I don't think we're going to have a maintained path for
Okay.
that.
All right. Yeah, because that could be, because of the slopes there, that
Yeah.
could become an erosion issue, so.
Yeah, there's some ledge out in the, there's some ledge outcrops there as well.
Yeah.
I haven't actually looked to see how they're gonna get up there. I'm sure that they'll be able to get up there, but they were the OVP management was pretty adamant about wanting to have a pylon sign that can be seen from the highway, due to the competition they think that they're going to have in the area.
I'm sure the businesses would like the traffic to come into the center of town. You know, even if they don't come here, they'd like to
Right.
know people are coming
Yeah.
through, so.
and the good thing about local traffic is it might push people back up on the highway that are commuting through town too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it's true. I mean, you try to drive through town at 5 o'clock. It's,
Oh, yeah.
it's awful. You know, and
It
it's
is.
you know.
That's all I saw. in
Yeah,
the
that was
plans.
that was my only big catch. I do appreciate all the stormwater notes. That was we don't normally get something of this kind of detail, so it's good. Thank you.
Yeah, we've over the years we end up using more, and I mean we still use detention basins and retention basins and things where we can, but a lot of the times we find that we're using chamber systems a lot more.
Certainly, in a fully paved site like this, it really makes a little bit more sense. Do they have any designated snow dump areas on that they're going to do on the side?
We
they
have
can try to
snow
remove?
storage. We have snow storage out on the outside, so it's not on this plan, but on the site plan probably.
Yeah.
Thought I saw it on the
Yeah.
sheet.
Yeah,
Me too.
it's probably on C4. I know what they've been doing. A lot of the times, we show snow storage and things, but depending on the winter, if it's a real bad winter, sometimes the shopping centers, they pick a corner and they pile it
Just
in.
designate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what they were doing on that site this year, is they just picked a corner of the parking lot and just piled it up.
Yeah. It'll be a little bit more difficult if they do that
Yes.
with this one, with now the different pads that they have on there.
Right.
The other thing is that we do on on sites, if it gets to be a problem, is remove it from the site. They do that a lot too. It's expensive, but depends on the winter.
Right.
And you feel you're going up in front of the planning board on the 16th?
16th, yep.
All right. Well, we can make sure we get a appropriate letter with our, what we discussed here tonight. Off to them for prior to your meeting.
All right.
Great.
Thank you.
Yep,
Very much for your time.
I like nice, easy ones.
It helps when you come prepared, like you have. So, sometimes we get like one page that says, I want to do this, and we don't have anything else to look at. So.
Well, this one's nice too, because most everybody's pretty familiar with it.
Yeah, right.
And
Yeah,
most everyone wants it to get done.
yeah, right. True.
Well, thank you again for your time.
Yes, thank you.
Right. I know it was kind of late, but I did send you all that we are not going to be seeing the Star Drive applicant tonight.
Okay.
And so that means the Stanley Elevator, Henry Clay Drive applicant, but I don't see them here.
I don't either.
I don't know if it's really,
Is there paperwork on them?
If they're not in the wrong, well, they should know where to go.
Yeah, paperwork for Stanley?
yes, you should have had this
Yeah, this one. Maybe they figured it would be later, that they'd be up.
Rose Warehouse extension. Right.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you.
I don't know if there's really, we can really spend much time on this, but. Maybe we can.
Good timing.
Good timing.
Apologize for being late.
Look at that, your timing is perfect.
Yeah, because one of the applicants dropped out, so. At least you don't have to wait around. Right?
City fellow, so you'll probably just be in and out.
Planning board agenda tomorrow night, I'm 6 out of 6. Be a long one.
This is going in front of the planning board tomorrow night?
This is not, no, for the bus stop project. That was
okay.
last
Yeah.
time.
Okay. So, good evening, everybody. Again, my name's Tom Zajac from Hayner Swanson, civil engineer. Tonight representing Stanley Elevator, seeking your recommendation for site plan before the May 16th planning board meeting. As you can see on the site plan over here to my right, subject site is the existing Stanley Elevator site located at 9 Henry Clay Drive, map 2D, lot 41-2. It's about 6.3 acres located in the I-1 Industrial and Aquifer Conservation Overlay Districts. We're abutted by existing commercial office buildings to the north and south. Manchester Street abuts us to the west along with existing commercial uses, and then we have Henry Clay Drive and existing commercial uses and the YMCA to the east. The property is currently developed as was approved in the 1998 site plan. There's a one-story, about 25,000 office slash warehouse building on site. Customer employee parking is located in the east part of the site, which is the front along Henry Clay Drive. There's some existing loading areas to the north side of the building. As you can see on the plan, there's a small wetland located along Henry Clay Drive near the site entrance. This was designed and permitted as a stormwater basin to service on-site drainage. There's a head wall outlet that goes into the public drainage system and continues north on Henry Clay Drive. The westerly portion of the property along Manchester Street is undeveloped and wooded. The site is serviced by public sewer, water by Pennachuck Waterworks, and underground gas, telephone, and electric utilities. Stanley Elevator, as you can probably tell by the name, installs, repairs, and maintains elevators. Currently renting an off-site warehouse space, and so what they're looking to do is proposing a one-story, about 10,000 square foot addition to consolidate their warehouse space here at this one location. We've got some associated parking, loading, and site improvements really towards the back of the site. We're not proposing any disturbance to the front of the site, the existing driveways, or the wetland. There will be a ledge cut along the southwesterly side of the building addition. The project's geotech engineer is currently doing some borings out there, so should have some more detailed information, but based on what was found during the original project, there will be a cut there along the southerly property line. In terms of stormwater, what we're going to do is we're going to capture the runoff from new pavement and building rooftop areas and pipe it into the existing stormwater system, which will go into this wetland basin in the front of the site. And we're going to retrofit the outlet of this basin to increase the detention capabilities of it. So right now there's a 15-inch outlet that kicks into the road system, and we're going to choke that down to a 6-inch outlet, which essentially allows that basin to have a greater detention capability. This will reduce peak flows and leaving the site less than the existing condition. As I mentioned, no impacts to wetland or wetland buffers. As I did with the bus project, we have salt and fertilizer use notes on the master plan sheet requiring the Green Snow Pro certification and also the no phosphate slow release fertilizers by a licensed applicator. That's it. Any questions?
So, if you have a smaller outflow from that detention basin, what area will probably be at a higher level usually?
It does during large storm events.
There's plenty of site capacity.
There is capacity. Yep.
So it's just to slow down the outflow.
It is.
Right.
Yeah, there was a full stormwater report that was submitted as part of the project that shows a pretty significant reduction in peak flows and leaving the site.
You may want to ask the planning department to give you the summary out of that report for projects that come up.
Okay.
Okay?
In the future? Or this,
Yeah. Because most stormwater reports come with a 2 to 4 page summary, and then it gets into all the math and numbers and all that. And frankly, that's what the engineers are for. But
A copy of that was not submitted to you
They-
folks?
We didn't get a copy of it.
Oh,
no.
okay.
That's all right. You're on record for saying it's going to be less. We'll take your word for it. We know you're an honorable person.
Tried to be.
Yep. In case you're curious, on page 1, under the notes, it says the water is coming from MVD, by the way. Note 7.
So you do read the plans.
Yep. Yep. And I did catch all your notes about, Snow Pro and all that stuff. That's good to see.
Is it Pennachuck or MVD?
It's Pennachuck.
It is Pennachuck. Okay.
Yeah, it's all that is down there is all Pennachuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Are you going to be doing any blasting, or is that just the normal construction note that gets added?
I'm going to guess there will be some blasting.
Will be some blasting? Okay.
Yeah, I don't know for sure.
That's pretty rocky
Whether
right
it's
there.
it's weathered rock or more competent rock, but I'm gonna guess that there's some blasting, but like I said, we should be getting the geotech report back soon that will tell us exactly.
Oh, that's what you were talking about earlier.
Yeah,
Okay.
there'll be recommendations in there for blasting and earthwork and what's needed for construction in terms of constructing that slope.
Thanks.
Yeah, page 2 shows some ledge near the area. There's hash marks on page 2, on the back of the building, and then kind of back of the existing building. Are you on page 2? 2 of 7? Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so you see that, yeah, next to your finger, you see that dark hashed-in area? Oh, nope, that long line to your right, going left to your finger. That long line right there, that's all delineated as ledge, and then there's a little bit more further over where the new building would go. So.
Oh, right, because it's going to go like this. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole southerly and westerly portion of the site where the grading is. In there will likely be a combination of a steep slope earth and ledge cut.
So the existing wetland is really a detention pond in essence, right?
Correct.
So, because normally on a project where the plans have been done, this is 98, we would ask that they get remarked or designated. But I suspect what this has all been parking lots and roadways, that wetland has not changed its shape.
Yeah, we did actually go back out and reflag it.
Did, yeah?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we did. So what you're seeing is
Correct.
the current delineation, but yeah, over the last 20 years almost of the parking lot and areas dumping into there, it's essentially the same.
Okay.
Yeah, this was seemingly pretty straightforward. I didn't really see a whole lot of change. Certainly not from the last, I mean, the same notes we had from the bus project, or, a couple of them were changed here, which was good to see.
I did go in, I think on the last page, there's some erosion control notes, and there was a comment made about the 10-10-10
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, you see. went down to-
fertilizer,
you
so I
went
tried to
s-
go in and
Yep.
I went in the DES manual and tried to reflect their notes in terms of the different types of fertilizer use.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
Yeah, I did circle it because it was different than what
Yep.
I was thinking I was going to see other boilerplate, but I didn't.
It
so.
almost got in there, but
It's pretty straightforward, so.
It doesn't look there's much of a planting plan out back. It's just going to be reseeding for grass or whatever.
yeah,
That's
we're
really
actually
it.
asking for a waiver from that. There's some pretty good landscaping in the front of the site, and
Right,
in the back it's kind of hidden. They'll just loam and seed, and
loam and seed and just let it go
not
back
really
to forest. Yeah.
proposing any plantings. Yeah.
Okay. And you said you're on the May 16th?
May
you said,
16,
yep.
yes.
Okay. Anyone else have any questions?
No.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your time.
Quick as advertised.
Randy, please.
Oh,
The last meeting,
It's
we had
how
to-
long the last one went.
I'm looking forward to getting out of here.
You didn't jinx us, did you?
Yeah, because now we got deed work to do.
Now we're going to have 20 people walk in, right, and say they want to talk. No.
Knock the
Right.
door.
Yeah, lock the door. Right.
All right, so you want to speak to deed because you
Yeah.
you said you came across some
Right.
more.
So, so this is in regards to the Wasserman Extension property, or whatever we're going
Thank
to
you.
call it.
Thanks, bye-bye.
If you recall, a few weeks ago, we looked at the deed for the Wasserman Conservation Area, and we noted all its things, and at the time, I didn't think this property that we had, actually, it's a number of parcels, by the way. Did the math, there's like 6 different parcels that make up this one piece that we call the extension, because of just the way it all got done. But when I was looking at it on the computer to look at the deed, I didn't realize that after all these signature pages is where all the comments and restrictions are put in. What we got, I guess that's the method that Andy chose to use. So we should all be in your backup.
In the backup.
Yeah. Yeah, there it is, your hands
You
up.
should have that. It should look like that.
Got it.
So, yeah, so this is the current deed that covers all those parcels that make up the extension area of, I don't know, 20-something acres. All right, and it was turned over to the Conservation Commission in 2011. But usually by the time you get to all the signatures, all the interesting material is already been provided. So therefore, I didn't think there was anything more in it till I happened to be poking around, and then I said, oh, darn, I made a mistake. So if you go to the back under Exhibit A is where it gets into all the stuff that's prohibited or limited in scope. So what you'll find if you read through all that is you'll find it is, number one, very similar to most of our other properties. This is kind of a template that I believe Andy put together to begin with. I think it's a very good, viable template. Usually this wording is much further up when I've seen other versions of the template, but this might be just an early version of it. But there are a couple of things that are slightly different to actually align better with the Wasserman Conservation Area, which is really the goal I had when I put this on the agenda a few weeks ago, was to get the two properties to basically have the same rules. So that way you don't cross an imaginary, line in the sand, and you can all of a sudden you can do this and then you can't do that. The issue that we see a lot at Greater Woods, where you could cross a border and not even really realize it, and you can or you can't do something. So with all that said, on page 5 it says basically the following are prohibited with respect to the conservation property, and it gets into construction except for roads and trails to support recreation or wildlife and conservation management. New structures, same idea. Forestry is only in support of wildlife habitat management. Removing of vegetative growth, cutting trees and all that is pretty much prohibited except for these kinds of uses. When you skip all the way over to page 6, you'll see more of that same language, but the part that's different than what's been in a lot of our boilerplate is item number 7. And that basically states no snowmobiles, all-terrain vehicles, off-highway vehicles, motorized vehicles of any kind. So when I read that, motorized vehicles of any kind, that really gets into, in my mind, e-bikes.
Yes.
And anything else that comes with a motor, okay? So it's basically, traditional bicycles, mountain bikes, and walking, and, you could, I don't see any prohibited use by horseback riders or anything else like that, even though I don't think the trail system is conducive to that use. The one thing that I will note that is different between the Wasserman parcel and this deed language is with respect to hunting. This deed here does not speak to the discharge of firearms, target shooting, or hunting. We, by our decree months and months ago, said all conservation property prohibits target shooting, so that's kind of our own rule, but it's not in the deed. But I'm just so in the Wasserman parcel, conservation parcel, on page 3, letter H specifically states no hunting or trapping will be done or permitted on the property unless necessitated by reasons of wildlife management, preservation of conservation practices consistent with the intent and purpose of these restrictions and covenants. And then it gets into no building of fires to be done or permitted on the property as well. So fires and the use of firearms is the only thing that's really, or hunting and trapping, I should say. It doesn't actually say firearms, is the difference. So the question we have for ourselves is, do we want to extend that by a vote of the commission to keep the properties in sync, or do we want to not go there? And therefore hunters, if they chose to use our property, trappers can only do it by permit, so we would know they were doing it if they were doing it legally. We're assuming everyone is doing things legally, because if they're not, they can be prosecuted for that already, so we don't need a rule for illegal activity.
Hunting, trapping, and fishing, those are 3 separate things.
Sorry,
So they can
yes.
fish here.
They can fish on the
Okay.
Wasserman Conservation Parcel, yes.
Okay,
And they do,
yes,
so.
But again, that's regulated, you have to go buy a license to do that.
to fish.
Yep.
So if someone's fishing, if someone's fishing with a license, they're doing it illegally. We don't need to have unless we want to prohibit fishing, and they're already regulated.
Okay, but like when you're driving down Tinker Road and you see people hanging over the bridge there in the reservoir and they're fishing, do they have a license too?
They should.
Should, yeah.
Okay,
It should,
Yep.
and it should be displayed.
okay.
Well,
Usually it's on their hat or it's on a badge or on the tack box, but it's not supposed to be hidden. It's supposed to be able to be displayed.
Okay. Good to know.
yeah, and I think, was it age 16 and above needs a license, or is it 18? I forget.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't know. My kids have been grown for so long, I don't
Yeah,
remember.
exactly. It's been a long time since I've been 18, so or 16.
So, what I should have done years ago was gotten myself a lifetime license, because it would have been a lot cheaper.
Yeah. Oh, I know. Yeah.
Oh, well. So fires and the hunting and trapping are the three things that are different. So the
The
question.
hunting and trapping, I'm on board for. The fires, I'm hesitant just for the simple fact that we have that. We're queried about having camping on sites,
Mhm.
and that's an area that, with the cabins right there, they're trying to, Parks and Rec is looking to, potentially in the future expand that back to a camping site, which means that they'd probably be
We have a
in the
bonfire
area.
or
Yeah.
something.
So I just am a little
So they can't do fires in the Wasserman Conservation
area,
Area.
right?
So they would have to travel a good distance to go have a fire.
Do it if they're going on the other side of it, right?
Yeah.
Well, I suppose that's true. So I guess it doesn't serve any purpose not to do it.
It's already prohibited in that,
Yeah, so I mean, you go
Tested
from
area.
the park, you go to the conservation area, you have to go through it
yeah.
to the other side, so it's really not,
Mm.
I guess it doesn't make
You
any
don't want
sense.
to make fires out there anyway.
That far away, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think it makes sense to make them both same. So you don't have to figure
Yeah.
out where the boundaries are.
Yeah, and my thought is if we just make it a rule, like we're going to, potentially, we can grant exceptions to our own rule if we so choose to, right?
We make it a rule, or we putting in the deed?
Well, well, that's a good question.
If we put in the deed, we can't grant an exception.
Correct.
Mhm.
What I was thinking is more prudent than touching every deed of every parcel we have, is that at some point we need to update Chapter 111
Yeah.
of the town ordinance and have that cover it and have it be an ordinance, therefore there would be a violation. It would be enforceable by the police.
Right.
That's
The
all,
deed-
yeah, that makes sense.
The deed, the police are gonna say, yeah, they'll tell someone not to do it anymore, but there's no violation that goes with it, there's no.
Okay.
So, of course, updating Chapter 111 is a large activity.
Is that happening this year? Isn't that supposed to be going on this year?
Well, so all the ordinances are supposed to be reviewed every 5 years, and the 5 years are up. So the town council and the town manager should be doing something. Whether they go to the extent that I believe is necessary is a different story, because I don't know the answer. I haven't heard of any plans, but I have not been following that issue closely.
So if anyone's got the, personal bend to go start reading Chapter 111, now would be the time to make comments to your town councilors of
Mhm.
what you'd like to have changed.
Yeah,
That goes for everyone in town, not just people here sitting here, so.
right. So with keeping with that, then I think for right now, I'd like to move that on these parcels covered by this deed in Book 8325, page 2, that we prohibit hunting, fishing, and the making of any fires.
You mean trapping?
Sorry, you're correct. Let me rephrase. Hunting and trapping and any fires. So I challenge someone to find a good fishing spot on the parcel, but there is a stream there, so,
Second.
yeah, okay.
Any further discussion? All right, all those in favor? All right, passes 5-0-0.
So I didn't include in the motion the creation of signs and all that stuff. because we haven't adequately signed all our other parcels and stuff like that, I don't think we want to start going through and putting signs up every 50 feet and cluttering all the land and all that. All I could say is if we find that we have unwanted behavior, then we educate the police and hopefully educate the doer, and it goes away.
Especially
So.
with ATVs.
What's that?
With the ATVs.
Yeah, well, yeah. Fortunately, I haven't really seen any ATV use on those parcels yet.
Oh, good.
So, but all the trails are pretty much single-wide trails. You wouldn't be able to get a quad through most of those trails.
Oh, okay. I was thinking this was one of the places that we walked years ago.
Yeah, no.
You did walk it.
Did you? Yeah.
You walked it.
Mhm.
You went on the, well, you walked into it a little bit, not much. We walked that
Yes, you
LSIP.
and I did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
walked that LSIP section.
right.
We went across the stream a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
I
went up,
remember
yeah,
that part. Okay.
so.
Can't remember what I had for breakfast. I can remember that.
All right, you want me to keep going?
Sure.
So, I believe all of you got language for the trail descriptions for the Wildcat Falls parcel. I had Ryan at NRPC do a fit check. He says we actually have more white space available if we wanted to fill it. I don't think we want to. The subcommittee looked at all this wording. In fact, they looked at my original wording and added a few more lines to it, and it's reflected in the wording that you see in front of you. So I believe that captures everything that they thought they'd like to see. So, I open it up for any comments. I tried to keep it in line with what we did for descriptions on all the other parcels, as in provide some features of the trail and what to expect if you go out on the trail, as opposed to saying, hey, it starts here by this pretty post and ends here by this pretty post. Because you can look at the map and see that that trail starts there and ends there, right? So,
The only
Connect-
thing,
Go ahead.
oh, I'm sorry, it just kind of jumped out at me. I see a typo under Dog Beach Connector.
yeah,
The trail is fairly wide in its beginning. There's no apostrophe in it.
great.
And connector 4, did you want to say single wide? Is that what you? This is a short, narrow trail that is single wide.
I did want to say single wide, yeah.
Yeah. With like single track or.
I could say single track. I use single wide and connector
Oh,
too
yeah,
as
you
well.
have it
But you
everywhere.
tell,
Yeah, you have it everywhere.
you tell me, yeah, it is. It's everywhere. So.
Okay.
The other thing on Connector 4,
Yeah.
another typo. This is leading to a steep descent, DESCENT, to the river.
Or decent descent.
Decent.
Descent.
It's a decent descent.
Okay. So before I move on to the other changes, I just wanted to make sure, are we good with the language for the descriptions?
Yeah, I thought those were fine.
Okay.
I mean, obviously, if this grows at all, your white space may need to be,
Yeah.
But
Be
for now,
utilized, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
no, this is,
So I did bring a copy in case we want to refer to this map again. But basically, the folks at the subcommittee noticed that that one of the benches is in the wrong place. So we'll fix that. And we figured that was a debatable item, right? So next point number 2, is a little bit more than I thought it was going to be. So at the time I wrote this, all I knew of was 2 lettered markers were installed in the wrong place, so we needed to fix them. Andrew went out and went across the property over this past weekend and noticed that some of the other intersection markers are gone, and said, should we just remove those intersection markers and just from the map and then not speak to them? I thought that was a viable idea, but I think I actually referred to some of them in the description, so So the question to the commission is should we ask the subcommittee to put the markers back up, or do we just leave them on the map for now, and eventually we'll get them marked properly? Is there a preference? So you know what they look like. They were like 5-inch squares or 4-inch squares that just had the letter G on them or E, as opposed to a post, and they were embedded. They were nailed into a tree.
Right.
So
So we number all the other posts, and like in Greater Woods, we don't even have them really numbered. We just say the trail names and the junctions. So every property has got its own little twist.
yeah.
So do we just go to trail junctions?
Yeah. So
The names, the junction names, like we do at Greater Woods.
we can do that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think the subcommittee would, their preference from some of the discussion was then, we just remove the markers that are up and leave the site as natural as can be. And on the map, we don't need to mark every one of those, so.
I mean, because the ultimate would be, at some point in time, we go in and put posts,
Posts everywhere, yeah.
like we're doing on the other properties. We put in posts that,
And there are already 5 posts out there.
Right.
So, but it just takes time to get them routed and made and all that,
Yep.
so.
Yeah.
So,
Might as well get rid of the markers.
yeah, we missed our opportunity. This is when the
Yep.
town is willing to do them, is over the winter when
right.
they have some time.
Yeah, I brought that up at the subcommittee, not at the last meeting, but I think the meeting before, that we might want to anticipate this for next year and
Right.
see if we can get some more posts made up, so. Because I know that as a commission, we can certainly afford the material.
Right.
So, it was a private citizen who made the current posts, so.
All right.
Right, so I'm going to suggest then that we just remove the letters, and I will update the trail descriptions appropriately, right?
Okay.
Sounds good.
Uh,
This doesn't need an official vote, right? This is just like.
Yeah, as long as we're all in agreement, so. So one of the comments was to add trail distances for the connector trails, which is in a small box. And then we're gonna move that box. That's here on the map. They just shows a couple of the trails, but not the connector trails. We're gonna add the connector trails and then move the box over here and utilize this space since the box will grow,
Okay.
right? I don't think that, since this area of the map is not really part of the trail system, I don't think it matters if we
Right.
cover it,
I mean,
so.
if you really have to, I mean, this section of the map over here is not really anything.
Yeah, you're right,
The whole map can slide over if you really need more space over there.
yeah.
So, yeah, that's fine.
Okay, I think Ryan already agreed that he was going to draw in a road that comes into the parking lot, so it looks like it's
Yes.
connected like what we did for the Wasserman property. So, I did note that the detention pond is missing, and I think Ryan will add that in, since that is a prominent feature walking into the park.
Yeah, the one by the
parcel.
parking lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I'll touch on number 7 last, okay? So, the subcommittee would like to see a note under notices, which is on the back. So we're gonna have the trail descriptions in here. And I have a rough draft of that on my computer. But under notices, which is down here, we want to add a general notice that says there are other unmaintained trails on the property. These may have erosion or other issues. Please refrain from using them. In fact, I think Gage is probably of the opinion that maybe we should have a note like that on all our
Yeah,
maps.
I was thinking that when you said that.
So I don't know if we have space on all of them to do that, but I can certainly pass that along.
Well, that's the same. I mean, even if it's short, please refrain from expanding or altering trails without content and conservation. Just something,
Yeah.
some general, some.
Or disclaimer.
Well, not disclaimer, but it's you
Yeah.
go and you walk. I mean, people are making trails, and they think they're not doing something bad, and it's like, well, okay, we purposely didn't want a trail that goes there because it's all spring, it's soaking wet. Now we got people tromping through there, so it's.
Yep.
Might be convenient for you, but
Okay, so the last item is number 7 on the list in the backup is the picture. When I showed this, some of the members went, It's got yellow water. It might not be as desirable. The intent was to show the land in spring, because if you recall, like Wasserman shows a winter picture,
Yeah.
Ah.
We're trying to get a
Yeah.
picture of each
all
season.
4 seasons across all
all
4
four maps.
parcels.
Also, like for some reason on that brochure, having the Wildcat Falls Conservation Area in the center kind of really distracts from that picture.
Well, kind of, yeah. But it's in keeping with the
Yeah,
others.
it is.
And it kind of, you could argue the same way here. It kind of blocks the trees, and anything would have been in the trees. If you look at Wasserman.
People want to see the trees, they can get off and go out and
Yeah,
walk.
exactly.
That's the whole point.
So they'd like to suggest another picture, and I can fire up my computer and show it to you. But it's similar in nature. It shows the water and stuff like that.
Does it show waterfalls?
It shows, yes, it shows the river. Yeah.
Or it shows like waterfalls, like because this
Um,
is Wildcat Falls. I mean, it's
Right. Yeah.
that's
So
the attraction.
so-
or the name of the attraction.
yeah.
Who took that picture? Or does it matter?
NRPC did this picture.
NRPC took the picture?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so then I don't have to worry about insulting anybody. Yeah, I have seen prettier pictures of the falls.
Yeah. So what I'm going to tell you is that the picture that we have in spring it's probably not the most ideal picture. And like I said, I can bring it up, but do we want to manage all the way down the picture, or do we want to let the subcommittee decide what they
I'll
want?
let the
Yeah,
subcommittee
second.
decide.
Yeah.
It's in keeping with the thing. So.
Yeah, let
But
them decide.
my one request is it's Wildcat Falls.
Yeah.
I don't want a picture of this lazy little stream. I'd like a
Yeah.
fall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Yep.
I mean,
agree.
there's some great pictures of the falls out there that people around town have taken, so.
I've got some during the Mother's Day floods that will surprise the heck out of you how much
Oh
water.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Not that I want that to happen again, but my oldest is in her 20s now, and she remembers being a little kid, me dragging around to all these places.
Yeah.
She still remembers that.
It was very impressive.
Yeah.
So,
There was water.
yeah.
How long ago was that?
Well, so there was 2 times that it did that. That was in 2006 and again in 2007.
All right, because we were up here. Because I saw it once and it was crazy.
Yeah, and I've
That
got,
can be crazy.
I think we had another high water event in the late 90s that I've got pictures of as well.
Yeah,
So when I used to live in that neighborhood, so.
okay, yeah.
A shed came in over the falls down there.
The what?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Someone's shed.
Shit.
Out behind the DPW yard. When the river comes through there,
Got flooded.
someone's shed got wiped off the low part of their property. It came down over the falls.
God.
Just kid bobbing down there.
I can't imagine being one of those houses they're going, oh,
Nobody's in that, right?
So I'll pass all of this along to Ryan and the NRPC, and then we can hopefully come to closure on our first releases of all these things.
All right.
Did you want to talk about
Not really, but
the email we got from them or not?
oh, from Sarah.
Sarah, yeah, today's email.
Yeah, I've not. Yeah, please.
I know. I
I haven't done anything with it.
forwarded it yet, right?
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
not forwarded it yet. I just.
So just so you're aware, Sarah and the NRPC has created a Dropbox, and Gage will send you that info, so we can start looking at the collection of documents to say the project is done. So look for that, and then like the GPX files. If you're a GPS user and know how to use the GPX file, you might want to try them out on your machine or your tablet or your whatever you have that can use that file, just to make sure it's usable. So,
Because before we make it public, we'd like to make sure it renders well.
yeah, so,
Because that's all we need to do is put a GPX out there and have people get lost.
yeah, so that's all I wanted, yeah, okay.
All right. New business. I don't have any new business. Anyone have anything new?
The The only thing is I'm going to meet with Paul McCallie tomorrow to talk about the Friends of the Merrimack Conservation Commission. So if anybody has any questions, now's the time to ask. So,
Is that their official name already?
no, I don't have an official name. I'm just thinking of, in the interest of not recreating, the wheel. You don't like that?
My only reservation, and I certainly appreciate, and I want people to get involved. Do they really want to associate themselves with us? Do they just want to be the Friends of Merrimack Conservation? Because I'm sure there's going to be times when we do things that there's people within the group don't
Oh, I see what you're saying.
appreciate, and vice versa.
So you're okay with the Friends of, you just want
yeah,
it
I'd
not
say-
to be Friends of the Committee, you want it to be
That's what I'm saying. I mean,
Merrimack
because
Conservation.
once they put that name out there, whether they're associated with us or not, they're associated with us.
Okay,
You
yeah,
know-
we
you
can
know
do
what I mean?
that. So,
And- And it's not certainly not any shot at them, and not that I feel that we're going to do something that's so reprehensible they don't want to be associated with us, but they're creating an association that seems like it's where we're noted by the town. We're not employees of the town, but we're duly representative of the town, and they are not. So I just
so
not
Friends,
sure if that I don't know.
so Friends of Merrimack
Merrimack
Conservation?
Yeah, I
Friends
mean-
of the, or Friends of Merrimack Conservation?
The minute they say Merrimack Conservation Commission, they're part of us,
Okay,
whether they want to be or not. So I
Makes
just
sense.
okay.
Yeah, Friends of Merrimack Conservation.
Friends of Merrimack Conservation, got
because
it.
they can do things that are completely in their own direction. They don't really have looking for projects from us or anything like that. So
Good. Okay.
Thank you.
Welcome.
So the only other thing under new business is we get a number of emails lately from people volunteering or want to participate. I'm assuming you handle those?
I have not. There's been a couple this week that I have not responded to, but yes,
Do you mind
no, absolutely,
CCing the Conservation Commission on your replies?
yeah, I can do that.
Okay. Because I think it would be really great for everyone to know
See
what's
it,
going on. Yeah.
I'm usually on my phone when I'm doing it, so it's one of
Yeah.
those things like trying to get the address to come back up, but
It
I
should
can,
pop. Once you've done it once or twice, it should
yeah,
pop up.
it should. You're right. It should.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Thank you. I
yes,
appreciate
I can
you doing
Yeah,
that.
I can make sure to do that because I have not. There's a couple on there now that need to be responded to.
And you can always delegate that to someone else if you want to, Gage. We can change the mail. Goes.
Well, I delegate them to you when I don't know the answer.
Yep, I know you do. No, I don't want to be full-time on it, but maybe one of you 3 or 4 would like to see that mail traffic, and it's only a couple of emails a week, but if you wanted to help manage it and relieve Gage of some of his duties, you can. But that's up to Gage.
No, that's I have absolutely no issue with that at all. If anyone wants to get those also. And again, like Tim said, it's not like we get tons of emails. It's if we get 1 or 2 a week, that's a lot.
It's a lot, right? Yeah.
And sometimes they're just, I saw this, here's a picture type thing. So things, hey, thank you.
Yeah.
So it's not like you have to really spend a lot of time responding. But yeah, if anyone we can set, that's Weatherby runs that for us.
No, so that part,
That's a rule.
that's
That's our rule.
it's our rule
Yeah.
that Chuck
Miller.
could fix that, so, and it only takes a minute, so. If you're curious, or if you'd like to see what it's like and give it a test drive, so.
Any volunteers? It's just if you have any questions, why don't you just send me an email, something like that, and I'll get back to you.
Yeah.
I'll respond to a couple, and you'll see exactly what kind of things we get. It's really not. It's a pretty innocuous, low key item.
Just try not to burn them out too early. I'm just covering my butt because I know it's going to happen.
Because you're next.
Oh, Matt's not here, so he's next.
Exactly.
All right, the vernal pool party. was fun. Wasn't exactly the turnout we wanted. We had a lot of interest in it. I did get some emails from folks, and we did advertise on a couple social platforms, and it went into some of the local went into the Patch, I think. But we didn't have a large number of people, but we did. We still ended up taking a good amount of time and walking around. We're pretty confident that we found Blanding's turtles in Greater Woods, which should be the first time that we've had any kind of potential sighting of them. And Jeff's pretty sure that we ended up, because of this group size, we ended up being able to kind of do some things we wouldn't have been able to do with a large group. So we spent a lot of time down at the Big Beaver Pond looking at a bunch of the little amphibians. And
Who knew that those newts got
yeah.
to be 22 years old?
Yeah, really.
Do they
Those
really?
are those orange
little
ones
orange
that
newts,
turn
yeah.
green, and they go when they like live 7 years or so in a red phase, and then they go into the ponds and they turn brown,
And they
and their
become
tails
They
change.
get the tail flattens out and they get.
And they
spread.
live to be like over 20 years old.
Wow.
Got one and a half and counted the rings.
You want, what did you say?
Oh.
I didn't hear what he said.
He
It's a
said
good
you
thing.
cut one in half and count the rings.
We didn't really. I was just kidding.
I know Jeff wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Water snakes.
I
Yeah.
used to have some of those in my pond until it dried up 2 years ago,
The
and then
newts are
again
water snakes.
the newts.
Really?
And then again last year, yes, I would have them
Oh, wow.
every year in my pond. I would find them. I'd find the young ones, the red and orange
Yeah.
ones, but I'd also have the adults swimming around in my pond. I got some pictures of them, but
Really?
the past 2 years have been so dry that I don't have any anymore.
Mm.
So maybe they'll come back.
This was a difficult year. Jeff's very busy right now. If you think of what he does for a living, this is his busy season. So the weather this year has been very difficult. We've had some really warm nights, and then go right back to having cold and snow. And those warm, moist evenings, the animals move. They start their migration. They get to where they're going. They stop because they're cold. So it was really kind of. It was a difficult year, and he's across the state. He made comments about the fact that the egg masses have been very low, just because of the weather pattern. So it's an interesting cycle, but it was still worthwhile afternoon.
And there was a lot going on that day in the state. I think
Yeah.
there were a lot of activities going on
Yeah.
that day. So
I have to go back and look at the dates we did it in the last couple of years, but it was about the same time frame. But I think we had school in session because this time I got the flyers out to the biology teachers, but we didn't get any kids, very many kids this time.
Oh, because of vacation?
Right,
Yeah.
yeah.
So next
And
year.
it was a beautiful day. It's like and it was the last day. It's about the last day of vacation, and
I think Matt's
yeah.
niece was there.
Yes, yeah. We had one Hawkeye. Man, holy gosh, wow. Matt brought his niece, and we were all standing looking at the water. Jeff's looking around. She's like, "Oh, there's one right there."
oh,
2 seconds later, "Oh, there's one." We're like, "Oh my god!"
those young eyes.
Oh, she was like, she could see everything. It was pretty
Keeper
great.
frogs are like this
Wow.
big.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
you
we'll
saw
walk-
the peepers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, right off the side of the trail. We're walking around. We walked right over. Oh, look, there it is.
Like that big.
Next year, you're going to have to okay the date with me because I want to go.
We've had the same, I'm assuming it's a tree frog, but it lives in, I have like this terracotta thing, and it's got a little rain pipe, and it's been living in the rain pipe for 4 or 5 years. And he's thawed out, and he's poked his head out, and he's ready for spring.
That's good.
Now, that being said, it was a worthwhile time. But the next activity that we have coming up is the seedlings, and I called up there today and did actually get the approval. They said, yeah, they're ready to be picked up. So the seedling giveaway is
May 13th.
May 13th. Thanks, Cindy.
I just updated the calendar
when's
today
the,
with the detail.
So, anytime up to a couple of days before till the giveaway is okay for pickup.
I think they said they want it done this week. They're going to be open Saturday and Sunday this week, but they're going to try to next Monday,
This week,
next Tuesday. Yeah, because
Okay.
it's next week.
I'll let you know tomorrow if
Yeah.
I can do it or not.
Yeah, so it's next week. So they said that they really, by the Tuesday the 9th, is really about the end. And then they're gonna start.
So that's the last day?
She said if we have to push it, that would be the last day, so.
So Monday, the 8th.
Yeah, she's, they're looking to get the stuff taken out of there now.
Okay.
So we were supposed to get a postcard, a notification. They've not been able to find it downstairs. I didn't get one, so we're not really sure what happened to it, but we know. We can go pick it up. I've got to call the courier's back, and they're going to turn the refrigerators on. So when the seedlings get there, they're into a cold spot already.
I know he's pretty busy this week.
Well, if it's a problem, let me know, and because
Why don't you just,
okay,
yep, 'cause I
See if
know
we-
he's pretty
Okay.
busy this week.
Right.
So you got somebody else?
we may.
Right, if you don't, get back to me.
Okay.
All right?
We can do that. And that's gonna be 9 to noon. I think we said it out, right? Yeah, 9 to noon at Courier Orchards on Peasley Road. So
If you can't find anybody, I may be able to go this weekend and get the seedlings.
okay,
So
I will.
Let me know.
I will be in touch tomorrow because want to get it done.
Okay.
Actually, Deb put together a list of the events that she knew were coming up. I didn't. I meant to send that out and I did not. But just in the back of your head, if you find items and things like you want to do, I know you had some stuff on your back of your head. Just let's try to get them in the till so we know and we can talk about them and find out good dates because like you said we have an ability to have good dates that work for everyone. That would be good.
Yeah, so with that, the Wildcat Falls Subcommittee has a non-professional but very well-educated birder that wants to come out on May 20th and do a walk. It's starting at 10 o'clock, and it'll probably run an hour to 2 hours, walking down to the falls and looking for birds of opportunity. This woman's already been through the falls and has already noticed some things that might be of interest, and we'll see what's available. So that's Saturday, May 20th at 10 o'clock at the Wildcat Falls parking lot.
I saw her pictures. The pictures are amazing.
So yeah, so the only thing they ask is that you don't bring your four-legged friends with you because they would disturb the birds. Okay, they appreciate that people like to bring their dogs with them. Bring your binoculars. I will add this to our website in our calendar. Okay, and then whatever shoes or whatever you need to go hiking. Realize that it'll be high. It will be right in maybe hopefully towards the end of black fly season. So
They're out.
they're out. Yes. Yeah. So
And the ticks are out.
ticks are out.
You had some.
Yeah. Make sure you find a good repellent.
Yeah, so with that said, it was suggested at the meeting that was done to kind of formulate what's going to happen every month that we put out a brochure to explain tick precautions. I noticed that was something that Karen brought it up with me because she participated with that meeting that Deb and Matt Karen had about what to do on different properties on what month. So I was going to try and get my hands on the tick brochure so we can have that as a handout during these kinds of monthly events. Okay, and find out how we can get some printed up and have them available. So because this year ticks are worse than ever.
Yeah.
Mowing my lawn, I got ticks on me. That has not happened in my property in 10 years.
Wow.
I mean, going in my woods, absolutely, but doing my
Just the
lawn,
lawn, yeah.
just mowing it and taking care of some leaves and stuff like that on the edge of my property, I got ticks.
Dog ticks or deer ticks?
Deer ticks. These were big, but that doesn't mean that they're not out. So, because right now when the babies come out, the babies are so small, you almost mistake them for dirt.
Yeah.
Someone on Facebook posted, well, some people, because I've seen it several times, posted a really good suggestion is when you come in, you take one of those sticky lint rollers and you roll your pants, and it picks the ticks right up. So I don't know if it will get every one of them, but can't hurt, so.
Can't hurt, no, because my grandson came over this weekend to visit, and he was playing in the yard, and when they came in, we found on our living room floor a tick. I'm not sure how the tick came in, but it came in with my daughter or my other daughter or my two grandsons or whatever, so, yeah, just walking right in off the lawn.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so they're definitely out. So I'm going to see what it takes to create some of those brochures and get them done. So, right,
Great, thank you.
yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Do you have any subcommittee updates?
Well, speaking of events, Tim Adams, who's on the subcommittee, is going to be leading a hike this coming Saturday for the Twister Trail, walk through the Twister Trail. This was one he was going to do last year, and due to weather, it had to be canceled. So I did add it to our calendar. It's going to be Saturday at 9:30, just meeting in the Horse Hill Nature Preserve parking lot on Amherst Road. I think it's going to be like just a couple hours, you know, go through there.
You guys, are you making any conditions for the weather, or is it a rain and shine event? Because it's still a little soggy out there.
Oh, is it?
Well, just, I mean, if we have, we're expected to get some good rain the next couple days here, unfortunately.
And, yeah. Oh, I imagine if it got too wet, he would probably cancel that. But
Of course, I can't get
Yeah.
that.
They're saying Friday might be a good washout,
oh,
so you're aware.
okay, thank you. Yeah.
At least that's what I saw yesterday. I haven't seen the weather today, so.
So after that, it'd be a good time to go to Mars, to go to Wildcat Falls.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's right. And I think everybody saw that we had someone apply for the open position. I didn't know if that's something we could vote on, or if it's something that has to be on the agenda, or if we've even gotten any more other than the one that I know about.
Yeah, he sent that after we'd had the agenda solidified, but
Okay, so it should be like on the
I'm-
agenda.
I assuming that those subcommittee members have to get appointed through here.
They do.
So,
Mhm.
and then we do all know Don. He came in. Don was obviously the one that brought forth did the work, the legwork, so to speak, on the Skidder problem in Horse Hill. So, do we just agenda that as a?
I think so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that way people know what we're doing.
Right. Okay.
I
Yeah.
know
so our
he's
next
on
meeting.
vacation. Is he going to be here next meeting? Do you know?
He will be in town for the next meeting. I didn't know if he needed to come or not, though, since.
I personally don't need. I don't feel he needs to come. I mean, I don't. We normally have people come
Yeah,
before
just
us,
because he'd been here, he's
but
been here
it's
recently.
it's
But
people that we often don't know.
Yeah.
And Don's been a very active member of that subcommittee. He's an alternate now.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah,
So
he's an alternate.
he's going to get chosen to fill the
So
remainder of
right.
Deb's position, or is
Right.
it going to be an alternate? Is there a space there for a full position?
There are no open full
Yeah.
positions except for the one Deb is
Deb is
leaving,
leaving.
left. And Deb's position ends as July 31st of this year.
Mhm.
So it wouldn't make sense to appoint him for 5 weeks or
Mhm.
whatever it is. It probably makes
Yeah, I would
sense
think
to,
to appoint him as the full.
yeah,
member.
full member for 3+ years,
Right.
right?
Mm-hmm.
37 and a half months or whatever it is.
Okay. Yeah, I think that we did that with Tim Adams when he became an alternate.
Yep.
So, and then what we should do is let folks, if we go through with this at
Mhm.
a public meeting, then we need to advertise his open spot.
Like that, there's an
It's
alternate
available.
open.
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Almost there.
And then the last thing was that we had we had a walk last Thursday to look at the proposed trails between 14 and 15. I mean, we're not going to make, I already let people know we weren't going to make any decisions tonight, but I didn't know if everybody got a chance to walk them, if we wanted to discuss anything.
Is this about the relocation?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I believe It went out to the whole it went out to the whole Conservation Commission. You got a letter from Deb Huffman
Mhm.
with her views on what should be done, and so I mean that's obviously the reason that we don't have a trail is because Deb she's adamant about it, so we have to go and did some research into what she'd done. She did provide us with some great background information. There's a book here from the Vermont Wildlife Fish and Game from Vermont and about heron rookeries and their importance. So it's some good background, which is good. So unfortunately, the two trails are. Has anyone been able to go walk them? I know you.
It's on in the winter.
Okay, you have. Did you?
I did not.
You did not. Okay.
No. And to be honest with you, when I noticed that you had mentioned that we wouldn't, and they weren't on the agenda,
Mhm.
and that we wouldn't be voting on it, I took that as an opportunity not to do it because I had to prioritize.
No, that's fine.
Mhm.
There's some confusion on the flagging on the alternate trail,
Mhm.
and because I know Dawn's gone out there and tried to change where to find a better path. So I think that we perhaps need to fix the
Pull the flags if they're
well,
not.
no, pull them, but I mean fix the east side a little bit and delineate. Okay, this is
Yeah.
option A, option B, or whatever, so people can see where they go, because it is a little confusing on the east side.
Right.
But if you get a chance over, especially after it's been raining at all, to get over there and look on the east side of that trail,
Mhm.
what's proposed. I'm not gonna. I just think you should go walk it after it's been a little damp, and you can walk both of them and get an idea. We do have a GPX. No, I do have a GPX file. I sent that to you.
You did, yes, thank you.
Of one of them. The east side was not available yet when I walked it and took that GPX track. But
The trail that's closer to the pond, the relocation proposed, the map proposed, is drier,
yes,
but it's closer to the pond. And that's
yes, it
The
has
issue.
it differs from the existing trail. At its widest, it's about 50 feet. We go from about 120 to 70 feet at the two spots where that's widest apart. So it's about 50 feet closer to the edge of the pond. But that's the pond that's also on the north side of the beaver dam.
yeah.
Overall, its location, when you look at it location-wise, and I can pass this around if anyone wants to see it, the rookery is below the center line of the pond here. So that trailhead, the closest it gets to that section is about 618 feet. So
Pretty far, yeah.
it's pretty far away, and it's behind a rise.
There's quite a few nests in that pond, right? Is that the one?
Yes, they're down here
Yeah.
by the poles. They're down in
Yeah.
this area down here.
Yeah.
They're in dead standing pine trees, and there's really, once you get further down Long Pond, there's no more standing snags available for them. So they're not really going to move north a whole much more, and unless the pond gets bigger. So there's a lot to think about, and this is a great resource, and I'm glad Deb forwarded that along to everybody. We have the single page assessment from Moosewood that everyone has a copy of. We can resend that too if you'd like. But I don't know, we do need to kind of make a decision.
Mhm.
Yeah, so when do you want to make that decision?
Oh.
Do you want to pick a meeting to agenda it, or?
I mean, would the next meeting be too soon for people to get out there? I mean, you're gonna have 2 weeks to go walk it.
Are we expecting the entire commission to be available at that meeting?
We know Matt won't be here, but I mean,
Is someone-
he's got his trail. We know what his preference is.
Okay, as long as, yeah, just didn't know if you wanted to afford him the opportunity. So,
Yeah. We kind of
I mean,
seem
'cause
fair if he would be
We
here.
can
I'm
delay
not,
it.
I'm not sure 2 weeks is gonna matter.
Yeah.
Right. Mhm. And
Oh.
I think the size of the trail is also, I guess, a question. whether it needs
Well,
to be.
So that's the thing that's my hot button.
Mhm.
And I brought that up when we discussed this
Yeah.
last fall, and Deb reiterated in her comments is, I believe any replacement or reconfiguration of that trail, we need to make sure that we cover all the same uses that the trail is designated for now, because that was a designated trail that was part of the definitive plan that was approved by the town council and a bunch of other
Mhm.
people. Kind of the same, I think, I shouldn't say the same, but a similar process that we did with all the basic trails that are in Greater Woods. So,
Mm.
I understand what you're saying. The biggest problem we're gonna have with that is the grade.
Yeah.
You're going up a very, very steep hill,
mhm.
and you can't go straight up it. You have to have switchbacks.
Yep.
And to have a switchback big enough to get, vehicles around like a snowmobile, we don't have the space. So I would think it's gonna be easier to designate a path, a multi-use path that gets those 2 points, but going straight up that hill, we're gonna end up with the same problem we have now.
Mhm.
And that trail's awful right now. So I understand what you're saying, but I think we're gonna have to kind of come up with some managed plan. It's like, this trail is gonna be, it could support some uses,
Right.
and then when we get to those other uses, they have to get between these 2 points in another fashion. I don't know how you feel about that, but.
Well, I guess we'll have to discuss.
Oh, I know,
it,
but I mean,
right,
we've got some physical limitations, and if we're gonna stick
Yep.
to BMPs, and we just,
Right.
something's gonna have to give.
Well, and I mean, it seems like that's one of the suggestions was just to close it completely,
Which
or that somebody said,
it's closed seasonally now,
right,
supposedly, but it still gets used.
yeah. But if there's no other place to, I don't know.
Yeah,
There's no clear answer.
No,
to
and
this.
there's a
I'm thinking.
longer way around. But if you're on a motorized,
Yeah.
if you're on a motorized or a horse or something like that, then the longer around is really not that much longer.
Right.
So
Right. You're right.
I think we need to have to just
Yeah.
kind of weigh those items against each other and say, okay, how
Mm-hmm.
'cause it's contentious, unfortunately, and it doesn't need to be. But we're trying to meet too many masters, and it's just somebody's going to have to
Mhm.
say,
Mhm.
okay, we just can't do it all.
Well, yeah, because I mean, if it's a nature preserve, then in my opinion, the herons are the master. You need to do what needs to be done so that the herons can nest. And if it means inconveniencing people on snowmobiles, then so be it. So
Yep.
that's my 2 cents.
Well, again, a good point. However, we're not out there in snowmobiles now, which is the brood season. So
Yeah, but
they
we
really
sc- yeah, we scare the
they
birds.
really don't match.
Yeah.
They're not going to really have much interplay.
Right.
But yeah, I understand what you're saying. So June 5th is the first Monday of June. We want to put it on that as the calendar? Is that
Sounds good.
Was this a banner year for black flies too?
Wow.
They just came out a couple of days ago. Who knows?
Yeah. What's interesting, on Saturday when they were out, Jeff, I did stop by the vernal pool party, but I didn't stay for it. Jeff commented to me, because I got there a little early, about, boy, all these black flies, but, they must be males. And I said, well, why are they males? And he said, are you getting bit?
And he was right. Like,
And the males don't bite. They just harass you.
Ah.
The females are the ones that want our blood. The males just want the females.
But the males harass.
That's
so.
right. They want the females. So,
this is going no place.
I guess they come out first. The males come out, and then the females come out.
I'm curious to see how this is going to translate on next time's minutes.
that's right.
Good luck with that, Dawn.
Yeah. But right, yeah. I mean, same thing with mosquitoes and
Yeah.
and bees, I think.
Yeah.
So.
Black widows.
Black widows. Yeah, they do worse than fire.
We have a theme here.
We had a, since our last meeting, I think we had a Greater Woods subcommittee. Since Matt's not here, I can step in. We actually had some members of Red Riders there, and we expressed to them the need to get that bypass trail built first, the D2 trail, because right now we are seeing quite a bit of damage, physical damage. We had one of the gates taken apart already because they had a ATV got caught inside of it. So they're going to look at trying to get that trail built first, the bypass. We did have, it's been flagged pretty well. The town, Don Tulumba, I don't know if I'm saying that correct. Sorry, Don, if I am mispronouncing that. It's flagged pretty well for the proposed, for our road that's proposed to go in there. But we're going to need to get that trail built prior to the road availability, so people have some, motorized vehicles can get in there and get to those trails without trying to get through the gates. The Greater Woods plan, we're trying to document or update the to-do list in there and get it done. We did speak to Jeff briefly the other day about looking at that property as a whole, because right now it's really kind of compartmentalized with the purchases. So we are going to have to get, at some point in time, get that plan rev to really look at that parcel as a whole. And nature doesn't really care what boundary is. So, but that was that and the just getting the trail plan and those to-do lists up to date on the management plan for Greater Woods is really the focus. At least until mud season's done. So.
Is there any update on the Skidder damage? Is there anything that I should be telling the subcommittee?
So, I did speak with Jeff about that while he was here.
Oh, okay.
This is a very busy time of year for him. So he was trying to see if he could do it later that day, and he just didn't have the bandwidth to do it. So he's going to try to get in here. And he's going to try to walk the path.
Oh, okay.
It's been obviously March 24th was the date of the incident, and as I said, we've had the police look at it. We've had DES look at it. We haven't really had much response. Their response from DES was, they're doing an okay job, trying to mitigate the problems. I'm sorry, that was the Greater Road.
That's the road.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
That's the Greater Road.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, he went and looked at both spots.
Oh,
that
right.
Same day.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know if he walked the whole path of the Skidder, but he didn't seem to find any wetlands violations. So Jeff was gonna, I said, walk it. If you find something you feel you need to investigate, or we need to get a wetland scientist in, we can go forward. So he's gonna take that tack, and he's gonna try to get over there as soon as he can.
Okay,
And
great.
at least walk that path, and we'll take his last assessment and then go from there. Because beyond that, all we can do now is start bringing in trail building company to see, okay,
Right.
what's it gonna take to rebuild that, what's it gonna take to rebuild that. And, frankly, we can pretty much come up with those time ourselves. We can say it's gonna be X amount of hours, man hours. We don't need to pay to have anyone do that. So Matt's gonna take a look at that when he gets back.
Okay.
Just kind of trying to assimilate hours-wise what it would take to rebuild those trails. So, short of it, no, there's not really any good update.
Okay. Well, that's still update.
It's a frustrating update.
Yeah, I wish people would take more ownership, so.
Yes.
So, no, any other questions? Subcommittee questions?
No, I think you've heard about my meeting already with all the things we brought up, because
Right.
the two big items on our agenda was the map trail descriptions and map updates, and then the bird walk. So okay.
We've spoken briefly about having a subcommittee for Gilmore Hill, or
Mhm.
Greens Pond, so to speak, that kind of area. Do we want to pursue that?
Yeah, I mean, at some
I mean,
point, we
need
should
to
be
start
thinking about,
advertising it and,
Right.
getting it out that we're looking for people.
yeah.
You want me to put something on Merrimack Outdoors and see if
I'm
anyone's
just saying, when you'll,
So what I was doing with the website update is we were creating a subcommittee page for each one of the properties that we have a subcommittee for, to start getting some visibility to the subcommittees off our Merrimack Outdoors webpage, and I was going to have a dummy page put in place for the other properties to say, coming soon, or if you're interested, please let us know.
Okay.
What I'd like to do is have that in place,
okay.
and then we'll make the public push. Get it,
So-
on, go social media with it and everything else, just to,
So I know we're talking about Wasserman also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
yeah.
remember Wasserman.
Yeah, Wasserman Fields Farm, Gilmore Hill.
Kind of, I don't know, I kind of
Watkins
have a
Forest,
feeling
Mitchell
that would
Woods.
be a higher priority, would be Wasserman.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, yeah, any,
Yeah.
if we're gonna have the pages there first, that's a good point. We can make the pages there first and, quick snapshot of the parcels, maybe from Merrimack GIS or something like that, so people have an idea where it is, and then, if you have any interest, we'd like to talk to you. Because one of the Greater Woods, one of the outdoors, Merrimack Outdoors emails you'll see later on, when I get the answer, is from a scout, local scout that wants to do something over in Wasserman, in Watkins. It's just so few people even know that's a parcel that we deal anything with. It was kind of odd to get a request, I'd like to do something over there. I'm like, oh, sure, go ahead.
It's a little bit strange, but probably the best way to get interest in these subcommittees would be the abutters of the property.
Yep.
Yeah.
Somehow notify them, because I mean, that's where the people are gonna come from mostly.
Yeah, we've got, in a couple of weeks, we're gonna have, 2 weeks, we're gonna have that seedling giveaway. We're gonna have, access to a couple hundred people. That's usually what we get coming through there. So, might be a good time to, at least we'll have the maps, and we can maybe have some plans of other groups that we're looking for. Maybe
Yeah.
make a little ad board or something. We'll stand outside with a sandwich board on.
Volunteers needed.
All right.
You can dress up as a beaver.
Thanks, Mike.
That's perfect, yeah.
With the tail slapping.
Yeah, the tail slapping, yeah, get their attention.
I'm sorry.
I couldn't resist
Should have
that
turned my
one.
speaker off.
Oh, you're a funny man. All right.
Now that has to happen now.
You have fun with that. All right. Any other comments? Mike, not from you.
No comment.
All right. Do we want to take up the minutes?
Oh, can I make a comment?
Sure.
2 comments, actually. Speaking of beavers, the Whittier Place.
I have not gotten over there.
Okay,
I'm sorry. I have not.
that's okay. Should they call?
I have
if-
the brochures, the little informational brochures. I have a bunch of them in my car.
Yeah.
I thought I gave everyone some. I guess not. It was we had everyone give business cards. I don't think I gave any brochures.
What to do if you have a beaver?
Yeah, just little. You remember the pamphlet we made? We made a pamphlet that was just a trifold. Beavers are a keystone species.
It's on our website. People,
It's on our website,
All right.
and
beaver information pamphlet, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it was certainly on the old version of it. Hopefully I think that came across, yeah.
People are
Yeah,
always
it's on the
fascinated when they start
outdoors,
talking
'cause
about
I actually
beavers
brought
and
some
beaver
when-
control
remember
and
we had
stuff, and
the,
and I tell them about
Yep.
the beaver deceivers. They're always fascinated.
What did
with
we
that.
go to, the Parks Day or something?
Oh, the Winter Carnival?
Yeah, the Winter Carnival. That's where I printed that out.
Okay.
It was from the Merrimack Outdoors website.
Okay. And I'll bounce it off Paul tomorrow when I talk to him. But in the event when there's something like the seedling giveaway, once I get this Friends of the Merrimack Commission up and going, can I do raffles and stuff like that there, or is that something that you want to avoid for something like that? I mean, will there be opportunities?
Do raffles off the website? Can you do
No,
raffles at
can
the
I
site?
like
do
at
raffles at
Sealand.
events? I'm trying to think of ways, I don't imagine people are going to be showing up with a ton of money, but I'm trying to think of little things that I can do here and there, you know, raise $50 here, $100 here, just to toss in Fund 53.
Oh, to put into our fund.
Because that's, I mean, anything that we raise through Friends of the Merrimack Commission is going to go in, I would imagine it will eventually make its way into Fund 53.
We could create you should talk to Paul about that.
Right.
Maybe we create a separate fund for that.
I would think
think though that we wouldn't do it in dribbles and drabs. We would do it in blocks, because technically the donation has to be approved by the town council once it come to go in to be accepted for the commission to use.
Right. So in other words, if it went into one account when it reached, say, $1,000.
Right, or something like that, right.
Okay.
You'd want to do it in blocks
Okay.
of dollars as opposed to every month going in front of the town council.
Right.
No,
Okay.
so
And
once a
hopefully-
year, once every 12 months, 6 months, something
Okay.
like that.
Okay.
I would think,
Or-
back to your question, depending on the event, I would think that's certainly doable.
Okay.
The seedling giveaway is being done in the location is donated by the couriers. We would want to respect their,
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's a private.
right.
Right.
So, but certainly the Winter Carnival would be a good opportunity, 4th of July,
Okay.
other things like that that are more
Okay.
public in nature.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, because I mean, if you're doing a seedling giveaway, you don't expect people going to be showing up with, you know, anything anyway, but,
no, but, yeah.
okay.
But
Just as
since
long as
since that's a private spot, our company, we'd want to make sure that they were clear on that too.
We have had people at a giveaway want to give a donation,
Yes, we have.
which we don't take. But
And they could buy stuff that courier, you know, they always have like apple butter, you know, for sale. So it's like a separate, you know.
Yeah, it's a little early for them right now this year, but they do have, I'm sure they've got some bottle. and
Well, I mean,
cans,
like
yeah.
canned stuff from last year, or, you know.
I have to call them anyway, so I can find out.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
You didn't happen to hear from the town council who they appointed to be our rep?
No.
Okay.
I've not asked either.
Mhm.
But-
Mhm.
I was expecting to run into someone the other day, and I didn't see him. So.
Yep.
All right. Minutes.
Minutes.
I'll accept the motion.
My goodness, I was mouthy last meeting, wasn't I? Good grief.
So I move the minutes of April the 17th with amendments.
Second.
All those in favor?
Well,
Oh,
Oh, any comments? Sorry.
I guess we ought to get the.
We gotta get
Yeah.
comments first. Any comments? There's one great one on there.
I saw it.
yeah, about you, Gage.
Yeah.
I move we keep it.
My kids will think that's very funny when I'm smoking planted things.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, so this was.
You want to start?
I only had a couple.
I only had a couple too, so we probably had the same ones.
Yeah, or did you want to start, Tim?
No, go right ahead.
Oh, okay. Well, so the one everybody mentioned is on page 4, row 35. Chairman Perry spoke of the plantings. Even though, like you said, I like the...
I was smoking planted things.
Yeah.
oh man,
And on page 9, row 23, them just put a D before, so it's down, shut them down. And on,
Say that again. Where?
23.
Yeah, the
Page
very.
nine.
yeah.
So
20
it carries over from 22.
Yep.
The police went out and shut them down, not own.
Page 9,
Page 9.
Line 23.
line 23. Oh, okay. I'm looking at ways to shut them down. I'm looking, it's just sit down.
Oh, yeah, your mind tells you what it should
Well,
be
no, I
sometimes.
just read the next
The next
paragraph.
one, yeah. Well,
The
that's
next,
how-
next line.
Oh, right, well, they
That's
would
what
be
I was
shut
like,
down.
it says shut
Oh,
down.
okay. Yep. That's
Okay,
right.
all right.
No. And then on that same page, 9, row 42. I didn't know if it's Vice Chairman Karen remarked for this project to get out at night. They were using a dozer to get out at night. I don't know what
Well,
does that mean.
I think that there's a couple thoughts there. At the end of the day, to get out at night, they're back dragging over what they've done.
Oh, to get out at
Get out at night.
At nighttime.
For them to get out at the end of the day.
Oh, okay.
Which is, right now, it's this time of year, it's, it's 6, 7 o'clock before it's dark, so. I think that's how I read that.
Yes, because the big logging trucks would
Yeah.
put big, deep ruts in the road. So they'd have to use a dozer to smooth the road out so they could actually get their cars out of there.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Okay.
Now I understand.
That's
okay.
what he meant by that.
Okay.
Okay.
That makes sense. Just when I was reading it, I was like, what?
Yeah.
And then I think I just had one more on page 12, row 6. Instead of, I think there should be or.
Well, yeah.
And that's all I had.
All right, Gina, you're up.
Okay, so on page 1, line 38, would it being proposed are 3 lots? Right now it's being proposed is 3 lots. You can help me out there on my grammar. Not sure which is grammatically correct. So we'll leave that there. And if it wants to be fixed, it will be fixed. On page 2, line 19. I'm going to suggest rainwater be one word because down on line 37 it's one word.
Okay.
On page 5, line 41. It says that could be added to down the road. It should be TOO. If you want to get real fussy, you could put a comma on that, so, but we won't get fussy.
What line is it?
That's
41?
on line 41. The sentence starts up on
Yep.
40, that could be added to down the road. I mean, you could technically put a comma after 2. Okay. And then on page 12, there's a couple of things here. A lot of the motions, everybody's commissioner, but do we want to differentiate, like on line 7, motion seconded by Vice Chairman Karen? And then on the viva voce, roll call, line 11 would be Vice Chairman Karen, and on line 12, Chairman Perry. On line 24, Vice Chairman Karen. Line 28 would be Vice Chairman Karen. Line 29, Chairman Perry. Line 36, Vice Chairman Karen. And that's all I have.
Really?
No, I just like the smoke.
Only native plants, though.
Do you have any there, Mike?
No.
I have one that I don't know if it was the wording or, because it could be what she said. So on page 6, line 41, if you start up in line 40 and read the second half, like read that sentence, it starts on line 40 and reads through 41. It can accommodate someone who may want to look at the map from the website or being behind their computer.
Or
6,
from,
starting on line 40, the sentence that starts on line 40, it can accommodate someone
Should
who
be
may
from.
want to look at the map from the website, and I think that it's probably supposed to be an
Or behind their
or are
computer.
behind their computer and have a big screen,
Mhm.
and maybe planning a trip for the weekend. I think there's supposed to be an or in there, or some, and it may verbatim, and it may have been, that's what she said, I just don't know. Because I understood that to be, someone who will look at it from the website was probably, she's
Or-
probably indicating looking at it from her phone.
or when,
Or, and then because the previous sentence, it accommodates two different audiences. So there's two, she's referring to two things in that next sentence.
the big screen being the computer.
Right,
Yeah.
so I would think she's, when you look at it from the website, which she's probably, indicating a mobile device, or behind the computer and have a big screen
Yeah.
and planning a trip for the weekend.
Okay. I might have one more when you're done. We're done with this one too.
Fire away.
On page 5, I'm not sure. You guys can weigh in on this. On line 32, he remarked he did it on the map for the Horse Hill Nature Preserve as it was an existing trait he carried over, or should that be trail? Because he was talking about trails in the previous sentence. But it could be trait.
I think it's trait, because I think he was referring to the trail markers,
You think it's
the trail letters.
trail?
I think it's a trait, because he had.
Trait?
I
Okay.
think it, yeah.
Okay, so leave that then. Okay.
Do you know Don spells his last name? Is it La Liberty with it 2 capital L's? Or is it just one?
That was one too.
Okay. No, I just saw his name was in here, and it was, just want to make sure it was capitalized correctly. All right, is that it for comments? So, all those in favors of the amendments made on that? Aye. Aye. All right, that passes 5-0-0. All right, no members of the public here, so commissioner comments? Cindy? Nothing? Jim?
No, I just apologize to everyone. I'm a little busy with other things in life, so if I don't respond to you, please don't take it personally. So, I just wanted to let you know, so, I just have a whole lot going on right now, so.
Yeah. It's that time of year.
I think you got more than that time of year, though.
Yeah, so.
Any comments?
I'm all set.
Mike?
No comment?
Okay. I have one. So the Madison Drive behind a piece of property kind of behind me that I've been trying to keep up with the beavers, I'm losing. And the water's getting high, and I get back there once in a while and can get it, but it's so I know it's not a great subject, but it's really not. I've been back there a lot, and there's really not a place to go install any kind of leveling device, because what they're damming up is, 6 or 8 inches, 10 inches a foot across 75, 80 to 100 feet. Because the stream comes back and then just goes out into the wetlands, and it's just a big flat level area. So they dam it up like 6 inches, and it just goes out and out and out until it starts getting to people's yards. So the dams are, they're holding back literally 6 or 8 inches of water, a foot of water, but they're very, very long. So there's no place to put a leveler in. So our other option is trapping.
I'll hold it
So
back.
you've had Mike look at this before? This is one
Oh
of the
yeah,
places
well no,
Mike
so the
Callahan
far end
looked.
of it, we have a device out at the far end of it,
Mm-hmm.
because there's, the pond comes back down to a location, there's a dam,
Mhm.
it's deep, you can put a device through it. Back in behind the neighborhood, The ground is so flat. I mean, you're in knee-deep water when it's backed up, and there's no, there's not enough. There's no channel. They're damming from grass clump to grass clump across the back, and it's just there's not any way to keep up with them.
Well, trapping only gives us 3 years.
Yes, it does.
What do you mean?
They'll come back.
They have babies.
It's
and
a
the beavers
great
come
habitat.
back.
Yeah,
Oh.
The food source is plentiful.
Oh.
It's
yeah, it's a great habitat.
Oh, I know Skip Lyle from Beaver Deceivers has said he's never met an area he couldn't fix.
Yeah, well,
So, there's other
Mike's-
things besides just the
Well, that's what I'm saying. But
leveling device.
some of the other things are extensive DES permit to go and make a channel and create a single path that you can let water through.
Would it be more of a permanent solution
Yes, it would be.
instead of every 3 years having to do something? Because unless everybody's going to move out,
So if they
it's
had-
going to be an issue every 3 years.
If they had a single path and the beavers dammed that,
Well, that's the whole thing. If
you
you
could put a
make a channel,
deceiver there.
if you make a channel,
Yeah.
it's deep enough that you can put the deceiver in,
Yeah.
so that it continues. But the problem is if you go out and look at that water area, if they build something just south of it, you're SOL. If they build it just north of it and they stop the water from getting to it, you're right back in the same boat. That's just it's a very flat area until it gets out to the end of that pond. Then it's I would think slowly it's going to become, it's very slowly becoming not. It's going to take a long time for it to go away, but because the grass is growing in, it's catching more tree. There's more stuff growing in, so that eventually that wetland's going to kind of fill in.
is that the other side of your house there?
It's behind my home, yeah. And again, and it's not. I'm high compared to it, and that's not because I'm smoking.
Right.
But when I go up my back door and I go out to where the stream is,
Yeah.
I'm looking down 10, 15 feet into my neighbor's
Yeah.
across the stream behind me, and a foot of water to me doesn't make any difference in my yard. To them, that's
In their basement.
now it's coming back into the yard, and it's causing a problem. So I don't know. Got just something to chew on. If everyone comes up with some great ideas, that's something that we do. We're going to have to address again because it's just not.
do we want to ask the town engineer to take a look,
We can.
make a suggestion?
I mean, that's really. I mean,
So this problem in this area has been going on for years, since the neighborhoods went in.
oh yeah.
So when you look at the records, they talk about, and don't get excited, but they talk about going out there with rifles and
Oh, we have. There's town
yeah, it's in the records.
records.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's unfortunate we didn't have GZA back then,
Yeah.
before the town started building to
Well,
say,
right,
this is a
right.
terrible place to
Well,
build.
but and again, and I'm certainly not taking any crack shots at anyone who made that, but you go back 15, 20 years, the wetlands we didn't know.
Right,
We had
yeah,
no-
right,
we had no
that's-
idea.
Yeah,
So we've got records of them. They drove a backhoe in there, got rid of the dam.
yeah, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we can get rid of that, no problem. So DP down there with the backhoe, and there it goes. That's the problem.
Yeah.
And the
You know?
beavers are going, yeah.
Well,
shut
yeah,
up."
but
Well, no, the beavers weren't saying that, they were dead.
yeah. Well, no, I mean they just pulled up the dams. They just got rid of them all, and the water flowed, and
Yeah.
and it drained down. So their first dam was only this high because the water was all drained out. And over time it's
Yeah.
because I mean it's been since I've been there. I've lived in the house 20 years, and it's there's a drainage easement that goes across my property into that wetlands in the back. Last year was the driest year we've had forever, and there was standing water forever. And there was years 10, 15 years ago we'd have days of in the summertime of no rain, it'd be dry, absolutely bone dry, and it's now it's standing water all year round. So It's, there's definitely more water back there. So,
Yeah, my only comment is to see if we can get someone to see if there's an engineering solution.
Kinda love that.
Yeah, I've seen, probably 2-3 weeks ago, just driving around, I saw 3 dead beavers in the road, so they're on the move.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
One
Yeah,
poor
well,
one was-
they kick the little ones out so they can have more room for more babies.
Mhm.
Well, one poor one it was in Merrimack on 101A, so it must have been going near St. John Newman Church
Yeah,
across.
Oh, yeah, there's a ton of them right there.
Yeah.
Because that whole, that Natticook Road extension, there's that whole area behind there is just loaded with
Yeah.
them. I mean, we went back there, and I mean, there was,
Yeah, there was tiers.
yeah, it looked like a rice paddy.
Yeah.
There was sections, it was,
It
and
was
then the
pretty
big dam.
amazing.
The big dam was, I mean, holy crap, the amount of water holding, that was
Yes.
holding back.
Well, if that ever let go,
Yeah.
wow. Yeah. It's like the beaver pond on Listoka Pond at Horse Hill. If those dams ever let go, the amount of water that would come flowing through there, that would be amazing.
Mhm.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
It does happen, too.
Mhm.
Yes, we saw that happen when the pond behind your house let go. The dam was mechanically removed.
Oh.
That water washed all the way through the Watson property and down under the bridge. It just was a flood going through there down to the Sauhegan River.
Well, that's what happened when the dam behind the middle school let go.
Oh.
I mean, that washed out sections of Babusick Road, Babusick Lake Road. They had to rebuild, they had to, that whole low section, had to take it out and put those culverts back in.
Yeah.
And that's a long way. I mean, think it comes, that Powell Brook comes all the way down Blood Road. That's where we're gonna build that bridge. It comes
Oh,
down
right.
along beside Bishop Field, under the road. I mean,
Mhm.
it's,
Yeah.
there's a big dam behind the Reed's Ferry School too,
Yes.
a huge one.
Right.
Oh,
Yes.
really?
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
I've seen that
it's
one.
enormous.
Motion to
All right.
adjourn.
Second.
Those in favor, second? So that's, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, 8:33, passes 500. Good night.